This is my slightly overdue Dr. Sadler channel updates video for March and April of 2014. We're now about a week into April, so some of the things I'm going to talk about with respect to April have already happened, but I'm going to lump them in there anyway. Before that, there's two things I would like to talk about that are particularly cool and that I'm very happy about. One of these is that I've received a few very nice donations recently. I have a link in some of the videos, particularly the half-hour Hagel videos, and that's what these were actually about. They said, you know, I like what you're doing with the half-hour Hagel. I'd like to support your work. Here you go. And there's also the tip jar, which you can see on my main page. And you know, I get a lot of positive feedback in general in terms of comments, and that's very nice. But it's also very nice to have some sort of remuneration for it. So I have to say thank you to these people for expressing their gratitude. I have to express my own gratitude in turn. I'm not going to name any names, but you can expect to receive a nice email from me later on today as I get caught up on things. So there's that. The donations was kind of a cool thing around the turn of the month. And then something else that happened in YouTube and also on my Facebook author page is we passed some milestones. We passed the 10,000 subscribers mark on YouTube, and that is really quite cool because it, you know, what it means is that the kind of thing that I'm doing on this channel that I never thought would take off. It was really my wife who had to talk me into putting my videos of classroom lectures originally online, and you know, my question to her was, well, who's going to want to watch this stuff? And apparently a lot of people, because, you know, as she was telling me, I have sort of a knack for being able to take complicated ideas, complicated text, thinkers who people have trouble with, and make it accessible to them, to sort of bring them along so that they can, you know, afterwards go into the text by themselves or explain it to somebody else. So 10,000 subscribers, close to 1 million views so far for an academic channel, and not an academic channel like Common Core Standards or, you know, the History Channel, but philosophy. That's a big milestone for us. So I'm really happy about that. All of you who have subscribed, thanks for bringing us to this point. I also have a Facebook author page, and I've had that for really about the same amount of time, I suppose. And that passed the 1,000 subscribers mark just a few days ago. Actually, all this happened just a few days ago. So, again, you know, for somebody doing philosophy and talking about you know, things ranging from political theory to critical thinking to ethics to religion, and, you know, and not really pulling any punches or watering stuff down, that's pretty cool. It's a nice validation of what it is that I'm up to here. So those are some really great things that have been happening. Let's talk about March. So the month of March was pretty busy, and we tried a few new things. Among the new things would be, we scheduled a quarterly meetup. We're going to do quarterly meetups up here in the Hudson Valley and down in the city. We did one in March, so we'll do one in June. So, you know, stay tuned for that. Later videos, I'll talk more about that. So we did one in March, and a few people showed up. I had no idea how many people would show up or who they would be. And it was kind of cool. You get to meet the people who are actually watching the videos or you know, using the material that I develop, and I like that sort of thing. You know, it's fun to have some face-to-face connection rather than just video and comments and emails and things like that. So what else? I started doing some radio shows, collaborating with the punk rock Philosopher, who has his own, I think it's called Spreaker, radio broadcast, Saturday nights. Actually, for me, it's Sunday morning because he's Central Time and I'm Eastern Time. So by the time that he actually gets on at 11 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock here. But he and I have been collaborating. He does some really cool shows where he mixes together classic punk, new wave, alternative, metal stuff, interconnected with some discussions about philosophical thinkers and topics, and he's more focused, I would say, on continental philosophy. Like I did some shows on Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra with him, and he did one on Hume last 2 weekends ago. His most recent one is on Dostoevsky, and then he decides to blend together different stuff. So it could be the Police, it could be Rocker Chicks, it could be Love and Rockets. I'm trying to talk him into actually doing one on New Model Army, who I think would be really great for this sort of thing. So what else? We had some events. I'm continuing the library series at the Historic Kingston Library, Glimpses into Existence. It's a monthly series that's going to go on for the entire year of 2014. Each month we're focusing on a different existentialist thinker. This month in March it was Dostoevsky. So I led them through his biography, some of the key themes of his works, particularly The Underground Man, and we looked also fairly closely at some of the characters in The Demons, and then talked about the brothers Karamazov. And then the discussion went all over the place and ended up dealing with a lot of things having to do with religion, but that's the way these face-to-face lectures often are. So that's ongoing. We did a Dr. Sadler's Philosophy Forum, and I did something new with that as well, which was I had a guest come on, and I'm going to be doing this a lot more. My guest was Caleb Bernaccio, a friend and colleague of mine who focuses on virtue ethics, and we compared and contrasted Kant and Aristotle on the issues of rationality and happiness. So if you want to see that, if you missed it, the link is in the video description. I also had another hangout on air that I put into the Philosopher Geek Reflections because it had to do with Technosphere stuff. Namely, it was with Zachary Taylor, who's a games designer, and of course me as a philosopher. We're trying to find some common ground to figure out how philosophy and game design can actually interface with each other. So that was pretty cool. Released a lot of videos during March, a lot of half-hour Hagel videos. We're now at number 10, which will come out later this week. I did a few 10 shorts videos in that time as well. And a lot of videos from my religious studies class this semester, Religion in America. And I'll talk more about this, I think, another time, because I'm really considering what I want to do with those videos. They constitute something like a course that people could watch and learn from, particularly if they get their hands on the textbook that I link to in each of the videos. But one of the things that I'm not getting enough time to do in these class sessions is to focus in on some of the, focus in deeper and in more detail on some of the topics that I think would be really cool. So I don't know, I'm going to kick this idea around. I don't want to bite off more than I can chew, particularly while I've got the Hegel project and the existentialism courses still underway. But down the line, I think I'm going to do some more stuff with Religion in America. I've been still working on a Palermo course material for the existentialism course I've been developing for them. It's going to be available online. It's going to be, when it's actually released, it'll be for credit, and it will be, it'll cost something to enroll in the course, but you'll get weekly class sessions online with me, as well as access to a lot of the material that I've been developing specifically for the course. So if you've liked the existentialism videos and you'd like to actually take a college level course on existentialism with me, you might consider that. But I'll put more about that. I'll actually, once it's live, I'll put a video sort of like running through, what the Palermo course would be like. So let's talk about April now. A little bit of April has already happened. So I did a radio show, a Theology Matters radio show, and I haven't done those for a while because my Thursdays have actually been committed, but now I'm going to do more of those. I did one on Augustine and lying just this last Thursday, so that was quite a lot of fun. What else have we got coming up in April? Well, if we're talking about radio shows, I'm actually doing 2 Theology Matters. One's already done. The next one is going to be at the end of the month, and it's on Augustine and evil. So we'll talk about the problem of evil, which is one of the deepest theological issues there is, and we'll talk about Augustine's notion of evil as a privation of the good. So that's going to be a fun broadcast. That's a call-in show, so if you're really interested in that, you can call into that. I'm doing some more collaborations with the punk rock philosopher. He did a show last Saturday on Dostoevsky, so that's part of what happened in April. He's going to do a few more, and I think we're lined up to do some talk about Heidegger as well. I've also tried to get my colleague. I've got a colleague who, among other things, he's a really smart guy, but he really knows his Kant well, so I'm trying to get him to come on the Punk Rock Philosopher show. And that's a good segue into talking about Dr. Sadler's Philosophy Forum for this month, because my guest will be that colleague, Morris Stern, who wrote his dissertation on Kant, and I don't think he really is a Kantian at heart, but he really knows his Kant inside and out. So it's really a unique opportunity for viewers to get answers about one of the people who's got a reputation for being a real head cracker. I'll field some of the questions. Morris will probably field a bit more of them, but that'll be mid-month. That'll be April 19th. This week I've got a conference that I'm going to, St. Anselm Conference, and I'll be presenting a paper there on St. Anselm and his views on marriage, conjugal love, and sexual desire. And connecting up with old friends and colleagues. I always love going to St. Anselm's. If apropos of that, if you haven't watched my video on how I became a St. Anselm scholar, you could take a look at that. It actually does talk about the place, St. Anselm's College. There's the Felician Ethics Conference coming up as well towards the end of the month, and that is down in Rutherford, New Jersey. I'll be doing a talk there, also on Anselm, and I'm talking about something called ontological dignity, which is, if you believe in the notion of there being degrees of being, having a higher degree of being, having a greater density of being means having a greater ontological dignity, and I'm going to talk about whether justice, as opposed to say rationality or life or sentience, constitutes its own sort of jump in being for Anselm. I've also got another talk that it's a little bit more hush-hush. They don't like to publicize a lot, and I'm not actually going to say the name of the organization, but if you go to my Facebook page or you go to my Google Plus page and click on events, I'm going to be giving a talk next week called Before They Called It Mindfulness, and it's about how some key ancient Western philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, Epictetus were actually doing some of the things that the contemporary mindfulness people talk about, and doing it, I would say, a bit better. So might actually encounter some resistance in saying that, but that's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to lead them through a few exercises coming out of Plato or Epictetus or Aristotle that they can then take home from that. That's a dinner event. So if you're interested in that, there's an email link that you can click to RSVP on. What else? We're going to be shooting some more Hagel videos this month. I think I might shoot some more 10 short videos because I have quite a few questions people are asking me. I've got some religious studies videos to keep uploading with the Religion in America stuff. I'm going to try to get some existentialism videos done because there are a few that I really need for the Salerno course, specifically on Kafka, de Beauvoir, and a few other things as well. And I will be hopefully video recording the Felician Ethics Conference presentation, the St. Anselm Conference. We don't have a Glimpses into Existence scheduled for this month. Next month, May, we'll have 2 of those, and we'll be doing Nietzsche at the beginning of May at the Kingston Library, and Rilke at the end of May at the Kingston Library. I'm still going to be working on this Aplerno course, which is taking me a bit more time than I had expected, but that's all right. When you do something like this, you really want to make it completely up to snuff, as they say. If I have time, I'll do a little bit of stuff with Learnist and Curious this month as well, but I don't know. This is a very, very, very busy month. We're heading into the end of the semester for my Marist courses. Like I said, I've got a couple conferences to go to, a couple talks to give. I'm doing some radio shows, so I'm almost looking forward to having a bit more time on my hands in May and the summer, because we haven't scheduled some of the things that are happening yet. But as the calendar fills up, then you see you don't actually have as much time as you thought. So on that note, I will end. Again, I'd like to say thank you to those who have given me some generous donations, as a matter of saying thanks for the half-hour Hegel series. If you like my stuff and you want to contribute to my work, feel free to click the donation link. We passed up the 10,000 subscribers and then 1,000 subscribers in YouTube and Facebook. Those of you who are part of that, and I imagine that almost everybody watching this is, again, thanks to you. And it's got a lot coming up that's really cool in April, so stay tuned and you'll see some high quality philosophy videos coming out.